HR Success Talk has started its journey in 2012 with a vision to bring HR and business leaders together in a form of a community. We organize HR conferences and meetups where we invite HR and business leaders to talk about best practices in HR and business in different industries. HR Sting Meets also became a platform for our members to network with each other. We continued to find jobs or advancement in their career. HR Success Talk has leveraged technology while building the community. Our YouTube channel is focused on providing online videos or diverse different topics for benefits of our members. We can find video study material on topics like talent acquisition, HR generalist, HR analytics, learning and development, labor laws, and many more. During pandemic, we launched our webinar vertical. Again, with the use of the technology, we continued our mission of sharing and learning from each other. We touched thousands of lives across the globe and shared knowledge which was meaningful for our members. In HR Success Talk, we believe in recognizing and appreciating the contribution of HR and business leaders in their field, which is equally important. Hence, we launched our award vertical to provide a platform to professionals to give an opportunity to showcase their contribution and get recognized for it. We believe in fairness and capability. Hence, our jury and selection process is built in such a way that it provides opportunity to those who really deserve it. HR Success Talk has a very good presence on multiple social media platforms and other communication channels like Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Twitter. You can also visit our website www.hrsuccesstalk.com to read some interesting blogs by our HR bloggers on trending topics and issues. We are a huge community with global presence in multiple countries and thousands members and growing every month. We provide a platform to our members where they can learn from each other, can share their knowledge, and knowledge for others' benefit, build relationships and networking, and leverage this networking in any way they feel like. We have so many stories where our volunteers have leveraged this platform to find jobs, get new business opportunities, find a mentor to guide. It is up to them how they wish to leverage and use our platform. And guess what? You don't have to pay a fees to be a member or fill any form. You can be a member by click of a button by liking our Facebook, LinkedIn page, or any other social media channel. Simple, isn't it? You must be wondering how we manage all this. Yes, you guessed it right. We have a force of highly talented volunteers who spend 3 to 5 hours every week of their time for this community. We also invest highly on the development of our volunteers And our HR team organized exclusive training sessions for them. Some of them have started as volunteers, and today they are playing the leadership role in this community. If you also have the zeal and passion to serve the HR community and time to contribute, you can send your resume at info@hrsuccesstalk.com to be our volunteer. Our talent team will be in touch with you. For us, this is just a beginning. You can either choose to be part of the journey or watch it from a distance. Let's learn and share together.
Hello, namaste, and welcome back to another episode of Edge Talk series. I'm Shivani Deshpande, and I'm your host for today. Experience, growth, development, and engagement is what we aim to bring to you through Edge Talk series by bringing esteemed speakers across the globe together to discuss on important and corporate subject matters. Today, we will be speaking about one of the most alerting concerns, that is moonlighting. It is not a hidden fact anymore that a lot of employees have been taking up multiple and dual jobs. As much as most of them are doing it out of necessity, a lot of them, it's a choice. It's a choice for them. This trend has triggered a lot of debate, a lot of questions, and a lot of thoughts in our minds. To find out all the answers, with us today, we have a very, very special guest, and I'm extremely delighted to introduce and welcome Major Dr. Mohommed Ali Shah. Major Mohommed is the most sought after international TEDx speaker who has given the highest number of TEDx talks, not only in India, but worldwide. He was recently invited to speak at the prestigious Seeding STEM Global Summit conducted jointly by the Cambridge and London University, wherein he received a great applause. He has also spoken at 2 Josh Talks, MS Talk, and various other esteemed platforms. Major Ali is a lifestyle and wellness coach, a motivational and a public speaker, and he's a storyteller too, and that's what we are going to find out today in the episode ahead. As an initiative to get back to the society, to educate and empower people, Major Ali recently announced a new venture to conduct online learning lessons. This venture, which is the Online Communications Academy, is receiving overwhelming response. He's a defense expert, a defense analyst, and a debate panelist on many popular Indian channels like Aaj Tak, Republic, Times Now, you name it, and you will find him on the channel. He has highly been appreciated as an actor in well-known films like Agent Vinod, Heather, Bajrangi Bhaijaan, and the most talked web series Avrodh. Welcome, Mr. Ali Shah. Thank you for joining us today, and it is our pleasure and privilege to host you and have you on this episode. So
thank you very much, Shivani.
Our pleasure. So before we jump right into the topic, please take us through your journey, because I am stunned and I'm sure our audience is waiting to hear from you.
Shivani, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here, to be invited by Ranjit, by you. And your platform is very, very popular. It's a lot of people benefit from it. And those who benefit from it, they swear by it completely. And those who haven't as yet can certainly come ahead and start benefiting now. Because if not now, then never. The change starts from here, from within. If we keep procrastinating, arey, kar lenge, we'll do this, we'll do that, some other, it will never happen. So it has to be now. So those who are listening, who have benefited, go and tell your friends. Those who are yet to benefit, who are hearing us for the first time, this is what you are in for. Well, Shivani, we are talking about moonlighting. Now, yes, as you rightly said in the beginning, that a lot of people do moonlighting out of necessity. It is not that they would love to do it. The best way to do too many things is to do one thing at a time. You put your heart and soul into one thing, you finish it, and then start another and another. and you'll find you will be able to do so many things. Now, I'll give you a small example. I was always inspired and motivated by my father. Like any other child, he would look up to his father, and what a towering personality. He would want to be like his father. And who was in the army? He was a general in the army. He was the deputy chief of the Indian Army.
Wow.
That's the second highest ranking officer. Yeah, thank you. So I was inspired by this towering personality in my house. I wanted to join the army. At the same time, I was also inspired by another towering personality in my family. That's my father's younger brother. He's a famous and a very popular actor, Mr. Nasiruddin Shah. So when you have someone like that in your family, you want to do it. Now, being in the army, you can't expect me. I can't be doing films, or I can't be doing theater. I can't be doing modeling. I can't be doing other glamorous stuff, which I wanted to do, right? So I now wanted to have my cake, as I say. You can have your cake and eat it too. I did not understand this faith for a very, very long time. And when I began to understand what it means, I understood much later on what it means. I'll give you a small example.
Right.
I'll tell you how I did both. How I managed to see my father's life in the uniform, and to see Nasir uncle's life in the industry, film industry, and theater both. I'll come to that. So without moonlighting, without actually trying to do both parallelly, I managed both. I'll give you another example, Shivani. Like right now, at this point of time, you can see this plug point. You can see my mobile is being charged.
Correct.
There's a specific reason to this. You can call it a prop, right? So now why it is like this is because whole day I was out, I was running around, and I was doing too many things. You must have heard of Subedar Major on Captain Joginder Singh Yadav Paramveer Chakra. He got a Paramveer Chakra in Kargil War. That is supreme award for bravery. So he needed some bit of help, so he gave me a call, and I went and attended to him. And here I am at another very, very dear friend and a senior of mine by the name of Major Gaurav Arya from the army. He has a conclave running in this very place. So I'm here attending the conclave physically on ground, and here I am speaking to you virtually. So I'm doing actually both the things simultaneously. But after finishing off my responsibility inside,
correct.
Now I have come and I am giving a talk to you. Supposing I'm doing a job, I've had the honor of working with the leading multinational companies, with Genpact. I've worked with Genpact, with Mahindra and Mahindra, with Rota Thales Limited. After I graduated from IIM Calcutta, Premier B School again. Now, let me tell you who is the richest man in this world. A lot of people people can write comments. They can type it down over there, down below. Yes. And the richest man, some comments would come. Elon Musk, somebody will say Warren Buffett, somebody will say Bill Gates, somebody might say Ambani, somebody might say Adani. But now, who is the richest man in the world? The richest man in the world is the one who has the least amount of requirements.
Absolutely.
So I can earn 1 lakh a month, I can earn 10 lakhs a month, but let me tell you, they'll never be enough. They will never suffice. Because human needs, wants are unlimited.
Exactly. The hunger, it will always go on and on for something. Correct.
So the happiness question, the happiness would never be there. We'll always want something better in life. So now what happens is, supposing for example, I'm saying, supposing I'm earning 1 lakh a month and I find I'm not getting promoted or I'm not getting recognized. I would want something better. So part-time, side by side, simultaneously, are doing something else for a parallel income. Why? Because now my requirements, my wants are more. And I would start doing that until and unless, as they say, a thief is never a thief unless and until he gets caught.
Correct.
So until one fine day, I will get caught. Like we read in the news recently that Wipro had sacked 300 employees, so the company sacked 200 employees for moonlighting. A big news there. Now, and a lot of jokes followed thereafter on social media that India is a country where moonlighting is a crime, but please pardon me in the lighter sense I'm saying, red lighting is not a crime. So it is, so now how do we do that? I want to earn a parallel income. So and especially I have served in the army. In the government service, it is a strict no. You cannot. I can't think of being in the army and being an entrepreneur or doing a job parallelly or modeling side by side or acting side by side. I cannot even dream of doing that. So now,
Correct.
a lot of people I know have opened their business I had known earlier on their wife's name. So the spouse is handling the business.
But you are
It's being done.
equally involved in it. Basically, you are involved in it, but it's under somebody's name to put it out. Correct. Which actually
Absolutely
brings me
right,
to
Shivani. Bang on.
yeah, which actually brings me to a thought that, see, you have very well defined what could be the potential causes behind why people are doing this. You know, the hunger. Maybe a lot of people are looking for power. A lot of people are looking for benefits. But do you think this practice is benefiting the companies? And if it is, how? And if it is not, how?
Well, in my view, if you ask me, it would not benefit because you would not be able to do justice to yourself, to the company, to the clients that you're serving, to the parallel income that you are running. You will not
Correct.
able to do justice to either of them. And that is the reason, and I totally agree with the fact that why they discourage moonlighting. But now at the same time, there's a suggestion that from my end, having studied management from Premier B school and from IIM Calcutta and then working in the corporate sector, from my experience, what it tells me is, I feel personally now because a lot has evolved, a lot has changed.
Correct.
We are used to online, working online from home and such things. So I feel
Remote
there's no
work,
harm.
yes.
There's no harm in parallel income. Okay. There's no harm. Why? Because it's the need necessary provided it is not doing any damage. You're not biting into the time, energy, resources, effort of the company you are getting a basic income from. Provided
Correct.
also,
Automation.
provided also you keep that company informed, but which
Right.
HR will agree to that. The fact is, which company will agree to that? And I
Correct.
believe
Correct.
the society will not change unless and until we change our own selves. So the change starts from here, from within, from here. Now, I'll give you another example. There's some companies which you must be familiar of. I will not name any of them, but where the employees, some of them are my friends, they've told me, oh, in my company, there's no work. It's just 2 punch and a lunch. You go in the morning, and these are not government companies, man. Yeah. They are companies like you are surprised, you're shocked.
So these are
They
private organizations.
And they're not even public, these are private companies, corporate companies. Now I will tell you, for a long while, those friends of mine couldn't analyze why that's happening. Where is the business coming from? Where are their salaries coming from? How come people are able to give them their salaries? At the same time, most commonly, there are companies where you don't get time to breathe.
Right.
You take work home. On weekends, you're busy. You are totally neck deep with work.
Correct. It's a tight day for you.
Two extremes. Now, if you are neck deep with work and you put your energy, effort, thoughts elsewhere, you would not be able to justice to that either or to this.
Correct.
Because you will be so stressed.
Absolutely.
But now, if you manage to do your work on time, if you manage to submit, if you meet your targets on time, and if you then personally, I feel, and if you also keep the company informed, now it's again the golden
the
question is
transparency. Yeah.
That's right. And if you keep the company informed and the company does not have a problem with it, no harm in getting a parallel income, which in today's world, as it is, it's a world of double income. In a couple, the husband and the wife both are working. Earlier, in olden days, it was only the men who would work. Men would go to hunt, the early men. I'm talking about Paleolithic age. And the wife would be cooking food. Yeah. Then we evolved from apes, we evolved. Then men would work. ये आदमियों का काम है, ये लड़कियों का काम नहीं है. Rubbish. Here we have Shivani Deshpande, a very successful professional, speaking to me, and I feel really blessed and honored. So it is, times have evolved, have changed. So then came a time where itni महंगाई बढ़ गई that we need double income, both husband and wife.
Absolutely. Exactly. Another point which is banging on these days, the cost of living is increasing, the standard of living is changing. Right.
Then came a time now where have you given a thought, how come? Why suddenly everyone, people are being booked for moonlighting, they're being sacked, they're losing their jobs. How come moonlighting
Yes.
suddenly now? Which means it was always happening from before. Yes, it only come in the
Absolutely.
forefront, in the news, in people's eyeballs, have come to know about moonlighting now. But people, if they would get time, they would do. Tell me, many people invest in the stock and share market, right? They do
Yes,
trading.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Now, those are people who are also in government service. Those are people who are also business executives. Those are people who are
Right.
working professionals, right? But they do trading online. That again a parallel income. But
It's a
nobody
silent moonlighting. We can call it that.
exactly. But nobody will call it moonlighting. Because
Absolutely.
that thing is a norm. It's understood. Oh, you have invested in the stock market? Fine. But which means they will be putting thoughts, energy that no one talks about.
Correct.
But the
It'll be
moment you
equalized between their original job and then whatever is their side, and as we call it, hustle, a side hustle these days. So see, we have spoken a lot about like how the companies should or should not react to it, and possibly a very great point that you have touched upon is being transparent with your company. I think it'll if you have a great understanding with your employer, maybe it's going to be a smooth conversation that, hey, I have a dual job and because I have a legit reason behind it to do, so your company might agree. But see, these days we are calling it a job seekers market more than an employer's market. So what if an employee is stubborn and even the company is stubborn and they may or may not allow you to do a second job? How can an employee positively convince the company and making sure that he's not breaching any policies of the current employer and he's also handling the second one? How do you think this situation can be handled?
That's a very good question by you, Shivani. I will like to explain it for everyone to
Yes.
understand in a
Yes.
very non-technical, in a very simple language, so that everyone
Yes.
can connect with what we are speaking. I know the story where this person was sacked from his job for moonlighting, and he lost his job.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very
I believe, Major, your video is stuck, or have we lost you on the call? Everyone, please stay tuned with us. Technical issues can happen at any point in time. Major, I think we lost you for a couple of seconds.
Did we or did you lose me? Because I lost you.
I was right here.
I was right here. I could see myself moving and I could see myself talking. And
I mean, technical glitch. Let's blame it on that.
One day, you know what happened? The HR caught a guy moonlighting, and the HR head said, "Okay, let me meet this guy on a video call." So he met this guy with a video call, and this guy did not know what to do. So he did this. He did exactly this. Then the video is paused. Are you getting me? So HR had thought the videos, there's a network issue. He just paused. So I hope you haven't done that.
No, absolutely not. I think the data or anything can happen at any, but I definitely didn't pause. You were giving us an idea about how the employee can convince the company. That's where I lost you.
All right. So he got his pink slip and he was driving back home, and he got a flat tire. So he said, "Okay, I've lost my job. My car didn't start. And even when it did start, I had a flat tire. Now what do? Now he had to reach somewhere else for on the meeting because he was working parallel. Not and by the way, people have this misconception that moonlighting means if I'm employed somewhere, I am also employed somewhere for a parallel income. It can also mean that if I'm employed somewhere, I've got my hands on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other things to get parallel, not
Precisely.
just one parallel income, but various parallel incomes. There are people like that also who do that. You know, in the year 2001, I'll give you another personal example. I was working with Genpact at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the call center and I used to work at night. I would do the night shifts. That's called the graveyard shifts in the call center.
Right.
And this was on one. And though I was content with the kind of salary that it was very low salary, but I was content. Okay, good enough for my needs and requirement. But I wanted to earn more.
Yeah.
Not just earn more, I wanted to perhaps do more. And I had just been crowned Mr. Pune Talent 2 years before that in the year 1999.
Wow.
Thank
Before
you.
you joined Genpact.
Before I joined Genpact, that's right.
Wow.
So there were a lot of modeling offers, there were a lot of ramp offers and such things. And I want to do theater as well. So that was not really happening with a regular 9 to 5 job. And that is why a night shift suited me much better. So at night, I would work. In the daytime, I would go for my rehearsals. I would do my theater. I would go for my rehearsals of. So it was up to me whether to sleep 2 hours at night in the day. 4 hours, 6 hours, and a
And then
day.
go through the night. Yeah.
That's right. I'm a workaholic. I've always been a very, very energetic, full of zeal, jest. I hate resting. I consider sleep to be a big waste of time, actually. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
unhealthy. It's unhealthy, not advisable. But I'm telling you what my personality is. Like I sleep for like 3.5 hours, maximum 4 hours a day. In 24 hours, I do not sleep more than 4 hours. And sometimes I wish that they were 30 hours in a day, not 24 hours, because that is also less for me.
Oh
And
my
yeah.
we need to take up this probably towards the end of the session. I'd love to know the secret behind how you are so active. I'm sure all of us need to know that. but after we have finished the conversation.
Right. So the story was, so now this man was standing on the highway, Delhi-Gurgaon highway. So he said, okay, let me hitchhike. So he hitchhiked. Behind a two-wheeler, a scooter was passing by. And luckily he had a helmet, the scooter. So he said, okay, I'll wear the helmet and I can sit. The scooter did not stop. He cursed that scooter wala. He's like, what the hell, yeah? He didn't stop. Then came another car. It didn't stop. Then he looked for the bus, which the normal government bus from Delhi to Gurgaon. For some reason, it was overcrowded. He was cursing his luck. Like that's called bad luck, having a bad day. And then what happened? My video hasn't got stuck. My video hasn't got stuck.
I'm not stuck in. I'm just keen to know what happened.
That's why I paused to generate the curiosities a bit more.
Yeah, I could just get off my seat to ask what happened.
You high five for that. I love that. Thank you, Shivani. So then what happens? Something unbelievable happens. It's like a fairy tale story. A Rolls Royce, which was passing by, stopped for him. And they offered him a lift. It was the chairman director of a huge company. Huge company.
See the luck here.
And they offered him a job in the car, in the lift. The job offer came to him in the car, and thereafter he learned the ropes working under this managing director. And now he's an entrepreneur. He set up his own company and he's doing really well. He's doing exceedingly well. So the moral of the story, a real story, true story. And the moral of the story is, whatever happens for the best.
Correct. I think your stars need to be aligned to for such luck to happen. It was sheer luck, yeah.
Even if also it's luck. See, the harder I work, the luckier I can get. And
I think manifestation, your determination, like how much you wanted to work also matters a lot.
Exactly. And we make ourselves get lucky. We create our own luck. A man writes his own destiny. We are drivers of our own destiny. So today, whichever state or position we are, our actions are responsible for that. We must have done something on the other, good, bad, ugly, for which we are in today's state. We are ourselves to blame for our success, or to give credit or discredit ourselves for failures. So now, this man,
Yeah.
so again, now, had he not lost his job that day,
Right.
he wouldn't have been where he is today. He is
Absolutely. Precisely. Very well put. I think it's a lot to do with, the chances that you get and the situation you're in. And see, not every time it could also be a fairy tale, sometimes I think just I'm trying to connect the dots, how this story and what we are discussing about relates, somewhere or the other. We spoke about how one can always convince your company, your boss, to let him or her do a dual job. But see, most of the times it wouldn't be all good. There would be arguments, there would be questions, and there could be a possibility that your company will be so stubborn enough to say that, hey, no, either you leave or you just don't do a dual job. So in these situations where possibly the employees might be sometimes at fault, okay, because you're taking undue advantage of having the liberty to do a dual job, do you think companies should set up like strict policies? Do you think cutting off remote work and calling the employees back to work will make a difference in the loyalty of that employee for the company?
Well, again, a very, very good question by you. If you see in the army, once I leave the army, I cannot rejoin back. I cannot.
Precisely.
Even if I wish to. But in corporate, it keeps happening that, if I've left a company, I can rejoin a company even after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years.
Right.
Which I believe is not a very good idea. Personally, like when I resigned from my job, my CEO told me, son, remember, the doors of this company are always open.
I think we have again lost Major Mohammed's network, but by the time he comes back, if you guys have more questions for us about moonlighting, please put them down in the comment box. I'm sure you must be having a lot of thoughts, a lot of your own doubts about how this situation can be molded into a positive one. And I think right before Major was about to tell us another insightful.
Yes.
Major, we lost you again for a few minutes.
Oh, did
few
you?
Seconds.
I did you? I'm so sorry. I mean, that reminded me of $1 million second. That's another story which also I will tell you about the $1 million second.
No, please go ahead. Please continue, Major.
Right. So I saw Ranjit's message in the chat box. I think we lost him. There was a network issue. So,
yeah.
But before that, let me tell you this quick story of this $1 million second, which is very pertinent to the subject as well.
Please. Yes, please.
It was the year 2003. And I was posted in J&K in Jammu Kashmir at the line of control at the Indo-Pak border. And I was barely 30 meters away from the Pakistani post. So I was manning the last post on the Indian side of a national frontier. And here was our flag, and here 30 meters away was the Pakistani flag. Just 30 meters. Like you can throw a ball, you can play catch and catch, you can throw a stone and land there, We could hear the not so friendly neighborhood talking loudly. We could hear them. One day, post midnight, we got information that a group of 5 to 6 terrorists have crossed over from a different post into the Indian territory, and they're hiding in a village in one particular hut. We had got this confirmed information.
Okay.
Now we quickly launched this operation, and we surrounded the hut. And I was a lieutenant. I was a young lieutenant that time. Barely, I was 23 years old, and full of joke and junoon into me. That kuch karna hai bhai, kuch kar dikha raha hai, militant marna hai, that kind of stuff. And there was a senior of mine, one Captain Sam. So he was heading the operation. I was the second in command of the operation. So the moment we saw we identified the hut. He said, "मैं अंदर जा रहा हूँ. मेरे पीछे कोई नहीं आएगा. I'm going to go inside. No one's going to come behind me."
Correct.
And at night, we could only hear the dogs bark. In the darkness, he enters the hut. He breaks open the door and he enters the hut. And as he enters, we couldn't see much. But all we heard was the machine gun fire happening inside the hut. And we had no clue what's happening inside. Yeah, we had no idea what's happening. All we heard was machine gun fire. Machine gun was firing endlessly. Now, being the second in command, I want to go inside and dash down, crawl, absorb, side fire. That's we are trained for that. But then my senior orders kept echoing in my ears. Okay, no one's going to come behind me. Now, 2 minutes had passed. 2 minutes is like very
correct. I think we are losing Major at a very crucial point where he's answering quite a lot. We'll try to just reconnect with Major. Please stay with us. I think he was trying to give us insights about a very important event, and we have just lost him. Just a second, please. Meanwhile, as I was speaking to you guys earlier, please feel free to ask any more questions, not just about moonlighting, but since we have a very special guest with us today, if you want to know more about him.
Yes, can you hear me, Shivani?
Yes, Major, we can hear you now. We lost you again at a very crucial second.
Oh, you did? Because from my end, it was showing that your video was frozen. So I thought perhaps you have got either mesmerized hearing the story, or perhaps you are. All right. So when he came out, he had neutralized the infiltrators. And that night we went back after a very successful operation.
So he did all by himself. So the noise that you heard was all him just putting down the others. Okay. Wow.
That's right. The infiltrators were fast asleep at that time. And that night, when we sat down for dinner together, Captain Saab told me, he was having his old monk large rum over. And I'm a teetotaler, so I was having my thumbs up. And he said, Ali, there came a moment as I entered the hut. I came face to face with the infiltrator who was like 6 feet 7 inches tall. And he
my God, we can imagine.
And his eyes were looking into my eyes, and my eyes were looking into his eyes. And I had my gun. He had his rifle. The golden question was, who will fire first now? Now, whoever would fire first would live to tell the tale. It just so happened that he pulled the trigger of his rifle first. And then he sprayed bullets where he could see some movement or some suspicion. Someone tried to wake up. He fired in that direction. So that is why he's alive, and he's alive to tell the tale. So that was now, what do you call that second? A split second. $1 million second or a dollar for a lifetime or a second of a lifetime. Yes.
I think his presence of mind has given him that moment, the $1 billion second.
Exactly, because he could focus, he could concentrate on that operation. Now, had he been there for the operation, and had he been thinking of, okay, same job, I'm not talking moonlighting. Some of the tasks assigned to him in the army, there were other tasks also apart from this task, right? Now, had he not been thinking and concentrating there, had he been thinking of some other task which he has to do tomorrow or day after, he couldn't have been here concentrating on that particular task, on that particular operation, on that particular job assigned to him. he could do it well
Right.
because he could concentrate only on that.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
when you focus and when you now similarly, that was one crucial task. But for example, if I in the army, if I have to win the match, I have to lift the trophy for the best in cross country. I have to win the boxing match also. I have to win the football match also, basketball match also. I can do things like is a very good multitasker. She's very respected, a very good professional at her work. At the same time, she's a very good wife. She's a very good mother. She's a very good daughter-in-law. She's a very good. She looks after the house as well, and she wakes up early morning. She'll take care of the house and her work. That's multitasking.
Yeah,
And the
it's
most thankless
exactly.
job is, unfortunately, the most thankless job is being a housewife. That why? Because there's no income coming, but people do not realize it's the toughest job in the world. Being a mother, there's no Sunday.
That's a true example of moonlighting, because one job is not similar to the others in the entire 24 hours of the day. Very, very correctly put by you, Major. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Brings me to one of my concluding questions actually for you. Do you think, since companies know what is happening, employees know what is happening, what is right, what is not, is it time that the companies now make peace with the fact that moonlighting is happening and it will eventually only grow?
Again, a very, very good and a very pertinent question by you, Shivani. Firstly, let me compliment you. You have really framed your questions in a very intelligent manner, I must say. I have to give that to you.
Major. Thank you, Major.
So, okay, now a question which we should ask ourselves. Recently, we read in the news that 300 employees of Wipro were sacked for moonlight.
Right.
The question is, were they the only 300 people who had indulged in moonlighting? Or were there more who perhaps were not discovered, some of them? Or some were discovered, but they were lucky enough to be set away with a warning who did not lose the job. That's
to get away with the situation. There must be many. Correct. True.
So that answer, I don't know, but it's a point to ponder about, to think of. Like, I'll quote on the example, like Puran Devi had once said, I'm not saying, I'm not encouraging, I'm not endorsing that statement, but I'm just telling you that statement, right? Not that I agree or disagree, I'm just telling you what she had said. You kill one, you'll be called a murderer. You kill hundreds, you will be something, ये ऐसा कुछ पुरन देवी ने कहा था. So अगर मैं चोरी करता हूं 100 रुपए की, पॉकेट मार दिया किसी का, पॉकेट मार. बट अगर मैं करोड़ों का घपला करता हूं, that is not considered that big a chori. But हालांकि that is a much bigger chori.
That's a real theft which has happened. Correct.
That is a bigger crime. You are looting people's money, yeah. both are bad. Both are bad. I would say in a way both are equally bad. चोरी तो चोरी है ना, चाहे 1 रुपए की हो, चाहे 100 रुपए की हो, चाहे करोड़ों रुपए की हो. So now moonlighting में मजबूरी ऐसी होती है, unfortunately हमारा ना गरीब देश है. Money does not grow on trees. Like, I would commend the Indian government foreign policy also. Like, for example, our foreign minister, there was a lot of pressure from the West, from America. But he said, nothing doing. We will continue buying cheap oil from Russia because they are our friends. Ukraine also is a friend. So we took a very balanced, very mature, and a very sensible foreign policy which favored us. Because he had to cater for जो हमारे देश में गरीब लोग हैं, they're poor people in the country who can afford expensive oil. Similarly, because we are not a very rich country, we have to. It's very important to take care of everyone's needs. Only when we are okay, we are financially well off at home. Only then the country's economy, the GDP also will grow. So that will not grow. So now, moonlighting. So when I want to do a parallel job for a parallel income, and I will get caught. चोर तब तक चोर नहीं हो जाता, वो पकड़ा नहीं जाता ना. Unfortunately, that is all thing. आप चोरी करिए, आप गलत काम करिए, आपको पकड़े. See, doing चोरी is not a crime. What I've been told, I say it's a crime. Okay, मगर पकड़ा जाना is a bigger crime. कि भाई पकड़े क्यों गए तुम? और भी बड़ी.
Correct.
So it is a person should see integrity. Something I learned from the army. What is integrity? Integrity is being honest to your own self
Right.
when no one is watching you. I'll give
Right.
you a
Being
small
true to
example,
yourself.
Shivani.
Yeah.
I'll
Standing
give you a
your
very
own
small,
grounds.
I'll give you a very small example, which I have often given that example on the various TEDx talks that I've given or the Josh talks that I've given. I had the honor to lead the Assam Rifles marching contingent at Kartavya Path, that time known as Rajpath, New Delhi, on 26 January 2008, saluting the President of India. Now, I had 2 stress fractures on both my legs. I was medically written off. I was also determined, no. I was also crazy guy. No, I will still do the parade with very bad pain. After I crossed Kartavya Path, that's Rajpath that time, there were no cameras, there was no media, there were no eyeballs, there were no guests, there were no spectators, there was no audience who was looking at me. Had I wanted, thereafter I take a left from India Gate and I go towards Purana Kila, the old fort.
Right.
It's a 14-kilometer march. Had I wanted, I could have sat in a gypsy or in the ambulance and gone. Nobody was watching me. But I said, no one's watching me. But my conscience is watching me first.
Exactly.
Secondly, the men I'm leading who are behind me, they are watching me. If I sit in the gypsy, they will say, saab mein dam nahi hai. Hamare officer gypsy mein baith gaye. He chickened out.
Right.
So I tried to be as honest to myself and I kept marching. I could have easily have gone in the ambulance, but that was integrity. Similarly, as employees, first thing, people should focus on integrity, on their values. I'll give you another small story, Shivani, a true story, just about 2 weeks old. 2 weeks old. And I have no qualms in naming anybody also in this because there's nothing bad, it's only good only. Right? But still, I would prefer not to name, but still, there was a very, very dear friend of mine from the army. He was ADC to the governor of Assam, and he had served with me in Assam Rifles as well. Very, very dear friend of mine.
Right.
And we were very close. So, and we were in touch. He had helped me out for a race where I was third race, it's called, in Assam, where I was tired, but he pushed me through. I was unwell, I had fever. He pushed me through the entire race. So I was always indebted to him. So one day he gave me a call. He said, my cousin, rather his nephew or one relative of his, has been sacked from his job. And if you can please help in some way, because you might be knowing the top brass of that company and such things. I said, okay, let me find out. I have no bones in naming the company as well, but I will not, because there's nothing wrong against anyone I'm speaking. It's only good only. And it's every word of I say here is true actually. So this company, I got to know now what exactly happened. He was working with the company. He got another job offer. He took up that offer. And many of us, let's be honest, give job interviews before resigning. We are still in this job.
True.
We may not be doing moonlighting, but we
to
look for a
secure
job.
ourselves, of course, to keep a backup as easy.
Yes, we will perhaps take leave that day, go for a job interview also, wait for the offer letter, wait for the call letter, and then only we will put up a resignation from the current job. Very common. Everyone must be doing this. Right? This guy also did the same thing. He went for the job interview, got selected, and now he put up his resignation. Now, what happened? The mismatch was that his release date on paper and his joining date overlapped, which meant if today is the 12th of November, he joined the company on 12th November, he was relieved from his previous company on 13th November, as per the paper.
Right.
So the company said, it's against our policy. We agree you may not have worked, but one day to the company, everyone tried pulling the strings, they tried with the HR, but it did not really work. So companies are strict that way. And I think, see, in Gulf countries, there are lesser crimes. Why? Because they're very strict with the laws.
They're strict.
For murder, drugs, or rape, they behead you. It might sound barbaric, and it is also, but the fear of God is into people. Can anyone try that anywhere else? Because we know, Hindustan, unfortunately, they're murderers, they're rapists who are roaming around freely. Why? Because of influence. That's wrong. But thankfully, now things are changing. thankfully now, slowly and gradually, people are being booked. They are being brought to the book, and slowly
Correct.
and I feel things will change, hopefully for the better. Now coming back to the corporate life again. So in the army, once I've left, I came on release from the army. I cannot rejoin the army back, because if that happens, then the talent will keep coming and going, keep coming and going. Arey, kabhi bhi join kar lenge, koi baat. So the company's policies should be very strict, very strict and rigid. It's required to be rigid in certain things. One can be flexible in certain things, yes. But regarding rules, regulations, policies, it has to be very, very rigid. And those rules and those policies should be made clear, should be made understood to all the employees at the time of joining itself. The rules and regulations should be made clear right in the beginning. Like it's like playing a football match. You and I are playing a match, and I'm losing, and you change the rules middle of the game and say, "Ab aisa nahi hoega. Ab se aisa hoega." To suit your convenience.
Absolutely.
So if it's made clear in the beginning, शुरुआत में ही कि भैया ये है policy, then people will stick to the policy, I believe. Now, HR.
As easy as stating the facts out that this is how it's changing, or we can say it's evolving, and possibly instead of thinking of it as a concern or a problem, we just find solutions out of it, how we can make all the things work together. Possibly. Thank you so much for your lovely thoughts, Major Mohammed. As much as we were to speak about moonlighting, we got to know so much, but at the same time, you have given us such amazing examples. I think it's more inspiring. It's how each of us should look at, a situation, as very well explained by you. So definitely, I think we needed another hour, because it was just getting started and just getting interesting. But thank you so much. If you would have any a concluding thought or a keynote for all of us watching us right now.
Right. Especially a message to our HR, especially that as HR, we are all leaders. We are looking after people's requirements as the human resource.
Yes.
Now, it can be emotional requirements, can be the professional requirements. It can we have to counsel them as well, at the same time motivate them as well. So we got to be leaders. Like I learned in the army on ground how to be a leader. When I was doing management at IIM Calcutta, I learned on paper about management. The difference between a leader, a boss, and a manager, which people do not really understand. That people एक ही चीज समझते हैं boss कि भाई ये he decision maker है. So a boss says I, a leader says we. A boss says get there on time. A leader says let's get there ahead of time together.
Right.
A boss knows how it is to be done. A leader shows how it is to be done. A boss lets his people know where he stands. A leader lets his people know where they all stand together. A boss takes the credit. A leader gives it away. So I would urge everyone to be a good leader and not a boss.
Precisely. Thank you. Thank you so much for putting that out. I think this was a much needed explanation. Though a boss, a leader, a manager is there to take the team ahead, but there is always a thin line difference. So thank you so much for helping us with that. It was, again, a privilege, and we were genuinely delighted, and we're really grateful that you spent some time with us today. Looking forward to collaborating together for many more such interesting sessions with you, Major Mohammed. So signing off for today, guys. Stay tuned for our next upcoming episode. Once again, a great thanks to you, Dr. Major Mohammed. Thank you so much. Signing off.
Shivani, and I have a YouTube channel of mine. If you want to hear more talks of mine, you can go to my YouTube channel by my name.
Yes, please.
Major
Yes,
Mohommed
please.
Ali Shah, and many of my talks on HR especially are there.
Please, I would actually urge all of us who are watching you right now, Major, that you guys should really reach out to him. Check out his YouTube channel, check out his LinkedIn, check out his amazing work. I think just type Dr. Major Mohommed Ali Shah on Wikipedia, and you know everything about him. Actually, most of us would even know about you, because you are a very humble and kind person who's out there doing such great deeds. So thank you so much. And guys, please feel free to reach out to him through any of his social media channels. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shivani. Thank you very much. Take care.